what are the top challenges while transitioning to Agile? I mean, the State of Agile report comes out every year and it lists these. Number one is invariably the culture of the organisation. Many people trying to adopt Agile today are doing so because what's working or what has worked for them in the past is no longer working. They're convinced that there's a better way. And that's good. They are the people that we want to welcome with open arms. But they also tend to be people who are not the first to dip their toes in the water. They've seen others do it and they're starting to think, I want some of that. Okay. So they're conservative by nature, or more conservative than the people who were adopting Agile in the early 2000s. And with that comes a pre-existing culture. Very often we're talking about these days big organisations. They've existed for years, decades. And what they've been doing has worked. They wouldn't be big organisations that have existed for decades if what they didn't work. They would be a footnote in history. So this is one of the key things. Okay? Because they have that history, because what they've done works, they've developed a culture around that, and often an identity of that. They are the people who work in this way to deliver this product. Okay? And that means that when you're introducing a new way of working, there's threat. People are going, yeah, but what we do works. Why would we take the new shiny thing? Because what we do works. And you've got to overcome that resistance. You've got to help them join you on a journey. So culture is the biggest one. Every time, every client I've been to, it's not, can we do a better user story? It is senior people with serious influence within the organisation asking very basic questions like, why? Why should I do this? What makes your way better than my way? And we need to talk to them. We need to bring them on board. But if you've not got the culture question, then another one would be the processes. Processes that are working against the agility of your system. If you are sat there, maybe you've got a good old slide deck in front of you that is for the upcoming committee meeting of whatever thankless task you've been given. They get in the way. Those things. What we have are people working on problems. The knowledge working world really means that the people working the problem are best placed to come up with the answers and the approaches to solve those problems. But because we're coming out of the 20th century way of working and starting to establish this new 21st century way of working with this change in the type of work we're doing, we've got hangovers. We've got things like the committee that exist, as I rather flippantly say, a place for decisions to die. Right? What you don't want to be are the people who have a process in place that slows things down. Because what you're going to do is you're going to say, well, they've made great things, but then it has to go to this technical review board and they meet once a month. Right? Well, on average, you're delaying that team by 2 weeks. If it's meeting every 4 weeks, they're going to come up with their decision. They're going to have to wait 2 weeks for those decisions to get through and move on and do whatever it is they need to do. And you've probably got a few other boards thrown into the mix. You are structurally set up through policy, through process, to lack agility. And you need to start tackling that, and you need to own it. As an organisation, very often they'll say, yeah, but it's really good. But is it? Why? What is it doing for you? And if you can hand on heart say, without this we would be a worse organisation, great, keep it. That delay that you've introduced to your system is worthwhile. It's there to ensure the quality of your product, to ensure your customer's satisfaction. Whatever it's there for, brilliant. But also be honest about the cost that it brings with it. Because it's not only upside, there's always downside. Any decision that you make will always have both. And is it sufficient upside to overrule that downside? Is that additional quality worth the 2-week delay? In some industries it absolutely is. And I want certainly some industries to maintain incredibly high levels of quality. But if it's not, what happens if you let it go? I think, and my experience says, you'll be surprised how little these things do impact in the organisation's ability to run, other than its ability to move faster. Okay? because they're hiring diligent people who want to do a good job. So there's two, the policies and structures, the culture, and I'm going to come to the tools that you choose and the ways that you manage them as a third one. Okay. Whenever I teach a Certified Scrum Master course, we cover the Agile Manifesto, the first value, individuals and interactions over processes and tools. And I will invariably say something along the lines of, I can't tell you the number of organisations I've been to who want to adapt to Agile, so the first thing they do is they go out and buy a tool to create a process to manage the pesky individuals' interactions. If that's you, you just got the Agile Manifesto the wrong way round, that first value, completely. Okay? Tools are good, tools are useful. They support teams doing good work, but it's the teams doing good work that's important. Have you got a tool to help them, or have you got a tool to manage them, to control them? Okay? If you fall into that camp, you really want to reconsider. Okay? Is it that you have to have central control of everybody's templates? Or do you hire responsible professional adults who could own that themselves? And is it going to be a bit messy? Yes. But can you work with them to help them create libraries of these things, make them searchable, all of these things so they can do their job better? They can create what they need when they need it, without delay, without discussion, and without going to people and asking them for permission to do their own jobs. So if you have the tools, that's good. There's nothing wrong with the tooling. Okay? But make sure it exists to support the individuals and their interactions, to create their own processes, not to mandate processes on the people. So, 3 things that get in the way of adopting Agile. If you've got to this point in the video, I hope you've enjoyed it. If so, a like would be appreciated. If you want to hear more from me, more answers to questions that maybe you've got in the Agile world, please subscribe to the channel. And if you've got a question that you really want answered, drop it in the comments. I promise we'll get around to it. Thank you.